This week I've cycled 3 times and run 3 times. Easy runs, but you know, in this heat, 90 degrees plus all week, lots of humidity, cycling just makes more sense. Oddly, it's harder on the knees than running for me. More knee, less calf. So the calves get involved far more for running, and the ankles and the feet themselves are under more stress for running. But the knees get involved more with bicycling. I just have a simple hybrid bicycle. We got these nice bicycle paths throughout State College. Pittsburgh was also a great place. Much hillier bicycle paths here in State College than there were in Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh, they follow along the, mostly along the rivers. So you can go for miles and miles and hours and hours and hours without hitting any hills. Everything's hill here in State College. So the day you're done with schooling, your last degree, whatever it is, whether you finish up 8th grade and you decide you're done, you're gonna do some sort of labor the rest of your life, or you finish up high school or get a GED and you stop there, or you go and get a BA, right, Bachelor of Arts, and then you get some career connected to that or completely separate, different field, right? Or like me, you go get a PhD, a terminal degree. Everybody decides at some point what degree is terminal. Maybe for you, it's trade school, right? But once that's done, your education for the rest of your life is in your own hand. As a Christian, I say Bible reading is all the time, no matter what. At least a couple times a week, preferably every day. Bible reading. It's part of your spiritual education. But we're not just spirits, we're bodies and minds. So, on that bodily aspect, you get to decide how you're going to educate your body for a nice long life. What is it going to be? Swimming? Is it going to be running, cycling, hiking, rucking? Whatever you decide, that's awesome. But there's so many ways. You're the responsible. You're your own principal. And then other mental aspects. Your schola humanae, right? Humanistic education. Your education as a human, what you're doing with those talents God gave you. You know, maybe you do a study of Shakespeare, right? Or maybe you do set up a broader plan for yourself. Maybe you review some grammar, like I'm doing, with an old 19th century grammar, English grammar book, right? Maybe you study Aristotle's logic. Or maybe you get a more modern book on symbolic logic. Or maybe you study Heidegger or Ivan Illich or some social theory, right? Or maybe you decide to do a study of 19th century English novels or plays or poetry. Obviously, I think it's a good thing to aim for a pretty broad education. It's better to read a bunch of books that you never finish than to finish one with a long pause in between because you felt obligated to finish it. If you start something, put it aside, keep your mark where you were. You can come back to it with interest returns. So much uphill. So everything that in school that we set up for children and young adults, because the brain's not fully done developing till 25. Actually, I think we keep learning through our whole life. Think about the food. We set up healthy food for children, ideally at school. It's a responsibility of the adults. And as you know from my last video, I am plant-based. Somebody made a good point that if I were doing it solely for ethical reasons, then I would be a vegan. But because I have this broad set of reasons, including ecological and health, that makes me plant-based. Mostly whole food plant-based too. Oh, this hill. Beautiful birds though. If you're going to educate yourself about food, I suggest listening to some audiobooks or lectures or reading a book by, say, Joel Fuhrman, Dean Ornish, what's his name, John McDougall. There's a bunch of them. I almost said Arlen Specter, because Dean Ornish kind of looks like Arlen Specter. Anybody other Pennsylvanians here remember our great senator who worked across party lines so often? Republican. If you're gonna ride bikes for your health, it's a great thing. You can get up to 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 10 hour bike rides. I see some people getting up to, but you always gotta make sure you don't make yourself so tired that you can't. Watch out for cars, because they're deadly, deadly, deadly. Always be careful, especially crossing lanes from the bike lane. Yeah, so each of those writers, scientists, doctors, have different perspectives, utilize different research to come to very similar conclusions, probably 99% similar. Michael Greger is another one. I forgot. He's got a lot of videos. Yeah, I watch him for a couple weeks and then like a little bit repetitive, but great idea is that nutrition facts is a great way to educate yourself about nutrition, going into the research, including looking where there's conflicts of interest, which happen in a lot of scientific research, because universities aren't necessarily the best places for what they purport to do, because there's so much money in that game today. There's Harner Farm. They grow apples. Always create a corn maze each autumn. Beautiful place. So if you decided you're going to exercise and do a plant-based diet, right? Body part of it, you should work on the mind and the spirit as well. What's the use of living so long if you don't have interesting things to think about? I'm not a very fast cyclist, but that's not why I exercise, is it? So if you're setting up your own personal Schola Humanae, and it includes working on the mind, body, and spirit, what are you doing? Let me know in the comments.